and welcome to Actuary Voices, the podcast from the American Academy of Actuaries. I'm your host, David Nolan, and today I'm talking with Shruti Gupta, President of the South Asian Network of Actuaries. Shruti, welcome to Actuary Voices.
Hi, David.
So, where we usually start is I ask our guests to tell us a little bit about themselves and maybe talk a little bit about their path towards becoming an actuary.
Absolutely. I'm Shruti Gupta, a senior associate at KPMG with almost 12 years of experience in the insurance and education industry. As you know, I'm also the co-founder and president of SANA, South Asian Network of Actuaries. And as an actuary, I've had an opportunity to follow my passion for math, and I'm excited to share my insights and perspectives on Actuary Voice with you today. Background, this is going to be a long conversation. Well, I was always good at math. I always got it because it was logical and I could explain it. I remember my teacher in my freshman year, or class 9th as we said it, she was very strict. But at the same time, she was a really awesome math teacher. She encouraged all her students to solve a problem on the board in front of the entire class. To most, it would seem intimidating, and most of the students didn't want to go up. But for me, I loved that experience somehow, and it gave me confidence. Well, obviously because I solved the equation correctly in front of my class. But that is when I realized my passion for math. I just absolutely loved looking into equations and going deep down into the explanations and whys. So I completed my high school, and when time came to decide what to do in college, I could think of only two things. Well, biotechnology and math. Biotech was not much evolved back then. So I decided to pursue bachelor's in math. My dad, he didn't understand why I wanted to study pure math, because my father and my brother are engineers and my mom did her master's in English. So usually my dad doesn't give up easily. He's pretty persuasive, but he gave up because he could see that I was very determined, and he could see my passion to study math and to do something with it and build my career out of it. So I did my bachelor's in math, but when I was in third year, all my friends, we talked about why are we really studying pure math? What's the application? And that's when we researched and learned about the actuarial science field. But we dropped it because we found out that there are more exams, and those exams are extremely tough, and the pass rate is extremely low. So I completed my graduation, forgot all about actuarial science. And soon after, I got married and moved to Australia, where with my math degree, I could only find teaching opportunities. And by the way, I never thought I could teach because I didn't think I had the patience for it until I actually started teaching engineering math at Monash University. And I also took private tutoring sessions for middle and high school students. So when it came to looking for jobs, I Googled jobs in the industry with a math degree, and top of the list was, as you can guess it, was actuarial science, to be an actuary.
Right.
My first preference was to study in Melbourne Uni, but as an international student back then, I had to pay a lot of money. And while researching, I found out I can take exams with the Actuaries Institute of Australia and pay just like 1/10 the price compared to the courses in the university. And that really set off my self-studying path in the field of actuarial science.
Wow, okay. And you say you moved to Australia. Where did you move from?
I moved from India to Australia.
Right, okay. So you became an autodidact math expert. Congratulations. And how long did it take you to pass your exams?
That's a great question, David. It took me a really long time to get my credentials. I took my time and I enjoyed my journey. I obviously had lots of ups and downs, but I always tried to find a good work life balance. While taking exams, I did not have the privilege to just study and not do anything else. I was married, so I had to take care of family. I taught life contingency subject at Monash University. I was doing private tutoring. I got my first job with AI Australia. Um, we bought our first home. I had my first baby. We moved continents with my 2-year-old. Got my first job in US with Prudential, and had my second baby. And last but not the least, I co-founded Sana. And it has been ups and downs in my journey, but I have thoroughly enjoyed my entire journey of being an actuary. And at this point, I am an ASA with the Society of Actuaries.
Well, congratulations on all those fronts. That sounds like you had several jobs rather than just one when you were trying to do your exams, but and trying to raise a family as well. Um, well, you mentioned SANA a couple of times. So the South Asian Network of Actuaries. Tell us a little bit about that and your role.
Absolutely. So Sana is really not just a nonprofit organization for me. It is, for me, co-founding Sana has been the most important part of my actual profession journey. And it is a platform where I want to make as many students as possible, as early as possible, learn about our profession. There's still very little awareness in my country, in India, when compared to being a doctor or engineer. Well, as a matter of fact, even in Australia, it's still a very small industry where when I was there were less than 2,000 fellow actuaries in Australia. So it is important for me to talk about my profession and to create awareness. I can tell you why I created or why I co-founded Sana. When I moved to Australia, I was alone. I had no guidance or support, whether it was emotional or monetary. When I started taking my exams, and I had never failed in my life. So failing my first actual exam, I needed emotional support. And similarly in US, when I moved here, I had to start from scratch with no guidance and no support. I attended a few social events hosted by OLA and IBA, and found a whole new world opened up to me. I saw the strength in coming together, connections forming over childhood games that I played as a kid, and there were different versions that some of my other colleagues were playing, and I came to a point where I realized that this is exactly what I would have needed when I was back in Australia or when I moved to US. So creating Sana was not just creating an organization, it was creating a real network for South Asians like me who moved out of India and you have no one to reach out to. So it is a platform where you can form networks. And we have worked really hard over the last 4 years, and we can see different South Asian students connecting with us, professionals, during our in-person networking events that we've hosted, different coffee chats that we've hosted. And there's a lot of need in the industry to learn about the profession, and we have been able to provide that. And I have learned a lot from a lot of the students and the professionals in the industry. So it's been a great journey.
Great. So 4 years ago, you co-founded Sana, and as you say, you've hosted a number of social events and to provide support and awareness about the profession. Um, what are Sana's goals? What would you aim to be in 5 or 7 years?
Absolutely. So, my vision as the current president is to build our strategic growth initiatives for SANA. We primarily want to provide a platform for students to meet with the professionals, to learn about the industry, help the students with their exams or job related queries, as well as promote our profession in high schools. We have already started rolling out scholarships for students, which I hope will prove helpful for students who are in need to take these really expensive exams. Even though they are one-tenth the cost of a university course, they're still very expensive. So, trying to provide as much support as possible and also enhancing our global presence and partnership, expanding the outreach of SANA to South Asian countries, and also increasing partnership with them, partnering with different companies who are in need of actuarial talent overseas.
Sure. That's an interesting. The second aim you mentioned there about promoting Sana and raising awareness overseas is something that's different than the other affinity groups here in the US, who tend to be focused very much on the US itself. Um, do you get a sense of why Sana has got that particular approach?
I would say I'm a person who believes in having really strong roots. My father, my dad, he's always been my source of inspiration and guidance. His experience and his wisdom has shaped my leadership philosophy, which is rooted in integrity and compassion and kind of creating a commitment to making a positive change around you. And it is important for me, I feel, together with the Sana team, that we envision a future where our organization continues to thrive, obviously, and grow and make meaningful differences in our actuarial community. At the same time, it's extremely important for us to acknowledge that our profession is global. We are everywhere, and we need to learn how to embrace and how to acknowledge and how to utilize the best of the talent that we have globally. Pandemic was probably an eye opener where we realized that someone can be sitting in India and someone can be sitting in US and someone in UK and one person in Australia, and we can still have a team of 4 people working on a single project, and it's absolutely fine. So as I said, as the industry is getting global, it is important to acknowledge and appreciate that fact and work towards it.
Sure. And is there also a part of it where it's about not forgetting where you came from, not forgetting your roots?
Absolutely. I am an Indian by heart. I'm an Australian by citizenship. But I love both the countries. I love living in US. One of my kids was born in Australia. One was born in US. Me and my husband, we were born in India. So my heritage is in India, but I have had a lot of experience from Australia and US. And if I have an opportunity to give back to the countries which have given me so much, I would love to. I would love to collaborate with the countries where I have lived my whole life and the countries which have given me my job, my kids. Why not? It's about going back and understanding where I came from and giving back to them in some shape or form.
Sure. Yeah. And I think that's a very strong impulse as a an immigrant to the US myself, originally from Ireland, I think there is a strong impulse among many people who have been transplanted of not forgetting where they came from, while acknowledging that where they live now may be the best thing for them. Yeah, that not forgetting the past is important. Let me take a moment to remind listeners that you're listening to Actuary Voices, the podcast from the American Academy of Actuaries. On this podcast, we talk to Academy volunteers and leaders, as well as friends of the Academy, about what inspires them about their work, either professionally or as an Academy volunteer. Please subscribe to Actuary Voices on your preferred podcast platform. Now, back to my conversation with Shruti Gupta, President of the South Asian Network of Actuaries, who can be found online at sanaactuaries.org. That's SANA actuaries.org. I want to go back and look a bit further also at your previous goal, which was about raising awareness in high schools among students. And I'm wondering, have you found high schools to be receptive to groups such as yours coming in and saying, this is this niche but really amazing profession for the students who are good at STEM and math programs?
That's a great question, David. We have had certain high school visits in the past, and talking right now, we are presenting to a high school outreach program where there are more than 600 students at the moment. I've spoken to some of the high school students in my area, and they're always excited to learn about the profession. Some have heard of it, some have no idea what this profession is about. So I would say the high school students are receptive to learn about the profession. However, we need to make it a little bit more interesting for them to connect with the purpose, because sometimes it's important for them to feel excited at that age. One of the exciting parts is it's a really well-paying job that they get attracted about, because that's one of the most highest paying jobs if you have a math degree. But apart from that, it is a very fulfilling career. I always try and find purpose in what I do, and I help the students I've spoken to, I help them connect with the bigger picture of why to be an actuary.
You mentioned that people want to find fulfillment in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, what you find personally fulfilling about the work you do with outside of SANA, which is obviously very important, but in your regular day job.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, I always try to find purpose in what I do, connect what I'm working on, connect my work with the bigger picture, find out why I'm working, how I am creating an impact. As an actuary, I started with updating spreadsheets and reconciling data. I was like, why am I doing this? I studied so much to reconcile spreadsheets or reconcile data. What's happening? And that is when I've realized as an actuary, I need to really connect with the bigger picture, with the purpose. And what I realized was, as I got further into my career, that I'm actually working to protect someone's financial well-being. There is some individual or some family who receives an insurance benefit, a product that I helped price, or a product that I helped making sure that my company has enough funds to pay for that insurance benefit to recover from any of their unexpected events they might have gone through. So what I worked on when I was cleaning up that spreadsheet or looking at the reports was connected with a bigger picture of helping some individual or family sitting somewhere in US. And it gave me a sense of, wow, I've made a difference in someone's life. They may not know, but that was something that got me really interested. And I also believe in driving business growth. So analyzing and managing risk, I have enabled my work to make informed decisions. create new opportunities, and really expand the horizon of where we work. And it's important to look forward and embrace new opportunities that come along.
Sure. And your point about having an impact on people's lives is something that is a theme that crops up regularly in this podcast. And to go back to the student group you were talking about earlier, it is something that, yes, everyone wants a good salary, but an awful lot of people, younger people nowadays, they seem to want to have a career or a role that has some sort of social impact. And I certainly think that using that as a selling point for the profession is something that will speak to an awful lot of younger people.
Absolutely.
Shruti, we're talking during Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. I was wondering, does SANA have anything planned for that month for you to raise your profile or the profile of your members?
That's a great question. Thank you. Academy has always been very supportive to SANA. So, first of all, thank you for that. And we do have an exciting event in May. As the board, we will be meeting in New York and hopefully doing a happy hour after that. So I would love for the Academy members to come in and join us in New York. I will be sending the details out shortly. We will be posting them on LinkedIn as well. But most important is for Sana and Academy to really collaborate with each other, which we have done so beautifully in the past. So create opportunities to speak at the Academy's annual meeting, collaborating with professionals, and hopefully creating some sort of an professional development session or seminars with the students, whether in US or overseas. Why overseas is because students, when I went back to India last month, I realized that a lot of students are excited to learn about what's happening globally. And when they do have sessions that educate them about the US, UK, or the Australian region, whether it's regulations, whether it's the industry, whether it's different type of products, they're very excited to learn and to enhance their own knowledge because uh, there is a lot of consultant work that's happening in India, and a lot of consultants need to know things that are happening globally and not just in India. So that was one thing that I took back from my trip when I met with the actuaries back there. And also host webinars or workshops where subject matter experts can come in, maybe publish research papers. That is something that Sana definitely wants to go into, and we would love to have Academy contribute their expertise and help us on that front. The list is endless. I would say participate in mentorship programs. There is a lot of need for good mentors. There are a lot of professionals, not just students, who need mentors, who need coaching in the industry. And yeah, those are the few things that come to my mind that can help really raise Sana's profile.
I'm more than happy to say right here on the air that if you want to host an event in Washington, D.C., we'd be delighted to be your co hosts. We're also very interested in providing professionalism or professional development sessions. And, of course, I can promise you an invitation to our annual meeting. We are also looking to nourish the collaboration between groups such as SANA and the Academy. As you say, we've been working well the last few years, but there's certainly a lot more that we could be doing. I look forward to investigating those options with you in the coming months. So, if we go a little bit wider now and look at the profession as a whole, I was wondering, do you have any thoughts about some of the challenges or opportunities that the profession will face in the short or medium term future?
Mhm. So, our actuarial profession is evolving. The regulatory requirements and compliance is evolving. The technology is evolving. The data analytics, Gen AI, that's evolving. And not just that, we have an evolving population, the changing demographics, and there is a shift in risk landscapes. So there are a lot of challenges that we see uh, that can be related to our technical expertise, our business acumen, our communication skills, and as well as to some extent also addressing the diversity, equity, and inclusion within our profession. That is something that is important for us to link into. But I always think every challenge brings out an opportunity for improvement or enhancement. So, for example, embracing Gen AI to enhance our risk assessment and pricing, leveraging new technology to improve our engagement with our customers, and also collaborating with other professionals to drive innovation and to create newer solutions for our evolving populations. And also for those evolving populations, developing new products and address their risks and their emerging needs. Also, I would say when we look globally, it's important to have a global influence and an impact through international collaboration, which we are trying to do through SANA, and also showcase that as actuaries, we can be strategic thinkers and to utilize our abilities, not just to develop risk assessments and pricing, but way deep way deep down we are very intellectual and we are very quick thinking, smart individuals. So by addressing these challenges and seizing these opportunities, I I'm pretty positive that the profession can continue to evolve and grow and make meaningful impact in the world.
Sure. And I think that an awful lot of the innovation that you talked about, the technical innovation, they may make some part of an actuary's job easier, but it is that human judgment that's the irreplaceable bit. And then acknowledging that there are lots of different variables, and some of them rely on human balancing rather than a machine to to make a judgment call is I think where actuaries will remain irreplaceable. But one other thing about actuaries that I found is that there are many actuaries who don't actually work as an actuary anymore. They have used their skills and gone into they've gone different ways and different paths. But it just shows that the training that actuaries receive is so rounded and diverse that it lends itself to many different other professions as well. And I'm constantly blown away by the fact that you meet actuaries and they're doing something completely different, but they still rely on their actuarial training.
Absolutely.
Shruti, thanks very much for your time today. I've really appreciated talking to you. Have you any final few words you'd like to share with our listeners?
Absolutely. To all the fellow actuaries or even people who are thinking of getting into the profession, it is not an easy profession to get into, yes, but it is a very rewarding career. I would be more than happy to personally guide you and personally help you if you do decide to get into the profession. It is rewarding, not just in terms, as I talked about, there's a lot of money, but it is a global profession. Even if you're in some part of the world and you think, okay, if you're a lawyer, you can't move around. If you're a doctor, you're stuck in a country. But with being an actuary and being a global profession, you can choose to live where you want to live. You can choose to study where you want to study. And there will always be a need for your expertise. So, as I said, if you have any questions or anything, any doubts about the profession, if you just want to discuss or talk, you can always feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Shruti, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Today, I was speaking with Shruti Gupta, President of the South Asian Network of Actuaries, who can be found online at sanaactuaries.org. My name is David Nolan, and I'm the host of Actuary Voices, the podcast from the American Academy of Actuaries. Please visit our website, actuary.org, for a wealth of information about the work that the Academy does. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn as well. And of course, please subscribe to this podcast on your preferred podcast platform.